Martin Day.
Number 4.
Thank you. And with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to answer this question together with questions number 11 and 17. As a result of decisions at the spring budget, the Scottish Government is receiving around £295 million in additional funding in 24-25 through the Barnett formula.
Martin Day.
Thank you. According to the Commons Library, this government has cut the Scottish Government's capital funding by 16% in real terms from 2022-23 to 2024-25. The Institute of Fiscal Studies forecasts that there will be a further 16% cut by 2029. So after 14 years of austerity, inflation and COVID, can they tell me why the Chancellor is taking a hammer to our Scottish public services?
Mr. Speaker, the honourable gentleman is aware that the block grant has been going up in real terms. He will also be aware that the Scottish Government can switch resource to capital unlimited amounts if they choose to do so. He will also, I'm sure, be aware that the Scottish Government can borrow up to £400 million in capital each year if they so wish.
Deirdre Brock.
The Tories have failed to invest in our public services and high-growth industries, dragging the nations of the UK into recession and increased income equality. The UK Government continues to impose hard cuts to public services, with the Commons Library finding that the Scottish block grant will in fact have fallen every year in real terms since 2020. And yet UK Government ministers continue to deny that fact. Firstly, does she understand what real terms actually means? And can she tell us if she actually sees the devastating impact this is having on public services?
Just to be absolutely clear, Mr. Speaker, the Scottish Government's TDL spending review settlement is growing in real terms over this Parliament by over 1% a year on average.
Alan Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Obviously, she doesn't understand what real terms means after all. Analysis by the Institution of Civil Engineers shows that multiplier effect for every £1 spent, the construction industry brings in an additional £2 of spend. So this means that the real terms cut to the Scottish Government's block grant for capital by £1.6 billion over 2 years further deprives the economy of a wider £3 billion. So why does this government think it's OK to decimate infrastructure spend in Scotland? Because they don't.
Mr. Speaker, the Scottish Government is well funded to deliver its devolved responsibilities and receives 25% more funding on average per person than the equivalent UK Government spending in other parts. That translates to £8.5 billion more a year on average.
SNP spokesperson Drew Head.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, consequentials have consequences. Yes. The Chancellor's budget announced £20 billion worth of cuts for the public service, some 13% cuts for some departments, and that defies logic. The public sector is crying out for funding, yet his choices, if implemented, will lay waste to them. So does the Minister agree with the IFS that said it would be genuinely surprising if his plans could be carried out, or the Institute for Government, these spending plans will be impossible to deliver, or the Resolution Foundation that said they were fiscal fantasy?
Mr. Speaker, over the next Parliament, our plans are for spending to go up in real terms. I want to be absolutely clear about this. Equally, spending has gone up in real terms over this Parliament too. And he would have noticed at the beginning of this answer, I explained that you're getting £295 million extra this year through Barnett consequences.
Drew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No wonder the Institute for Financial Studies say that there is a conspiracy of silence from both the Government and the Labour Party over the scale of these cuts. As a percentage of UK spending, the Scottish block grant is set to fall to its lowest ever level under devolution, dwarfing his other plans. For Scotland, the Commons Library figures show capital funding falling by 16% over the next 2 years. He's already confirmed that the Scottish energy sector is the biggest loser from his budget and is doubling down. Why is this government, why is this Chancellor trying to be the new Hammer of Scots?
The only area where I would agree with the honourable gentleman is I would love to know what the Labour Party spending plans are for the next Parliament, and perhaps they will enlighten us this evening. But I will repeat what I said at the beginning. On capital, you have unlimited ability to switch from resource spending to capital spending. That is a choice that your Scottish Government has.